Jay here from Stretford, Paddock, and this is was a bit of breaking news in it. It's a bit of an update. You had the paper talk this morning. We've got a live later on today, but we thought we'd do an update this afternoon because, as you've probably gathered, there's all this news popping off about Marcel Sabitzer. Bayern Munich's Marcel Sabitzer, of course, the Austrian international. Apparently, according to reports, according to the tweets from other journalists who you'd class as ITK, United making a sort of last-minute bid to bring him from the Allianz Arena to Old Trafford, following that news that Christian Eriksen is going to be out for till April. So that means he's going to miss a big chunk of the remainder of the season. He's going to miss, obviously, the Barcelona doubleheader. He's going to miss the Carabao Cup final, if we get there, which I think we will. He's also going to miss a lot of important league games and FA Cup games as well. So Manchester United are going to be a little bit short in midfield, and it looks like Erik ten Hag is making a move for Marcel Sabitzer. Been a bit of a weird one today, hasn't it? This morning in my news, there was talk of us going in for Rafinha for Barcelona. There was talk of Royce as well, maybe coming in. It was a bit like, what's going on? Yuri Tillemans was another one we were being linked with. And now this Sabitzer news has broke, and it seems to have something behind it. It seems to be a bit of fire to that smoke. I'll get into some of the tweets in a minute, but you guys get involved in the chat and the comments. Let us know what you think about this news, whether you want to see him, whether you think it'll happen. Hit that like button as well, because I've been caught a little bit off guard by it. Thankfully, I am an expert on the Bundesliga and also specifically Austrians who play in the Bundesliga. It's kind of what I do. I just watch them all the time, so I know loads about him, so I'm buzzing with getting him because I've always rated him. I'll get into some of the comments and then I'll go through the tweets to give you an idea of where we stand with this potential transfer. Ross Murphy says, like the video. Paul Gill says, like the video for ITK, Jay. Santa Notch says, Jay the ITK is here. I love the fact you guys know I'm just not ITK. There's obviously humour there, because I'm not. All I do is just read what other people are writing, and, you know, I decide whether I trust these people or not, and then take it from there. Get involved in the chat in the comments and keep commenting and keep liking the video. So, Fabrizio Romano, about, let's be specific here, shall we? At 2:38 p.m, yeah, Greenwich Mean Time, tweeted, I think that's Greenwich Mean Time, isn't it? Marcel Sabitzer has told Manchester United through his agents that he'd be more than happy to join the club and Erik ten Hag's project. Bayern and Man United in contact to discuss terms of the deal with just 9 hours left. So obviously the transfer window shuts at 11 tonight. He also goes on to say Sabitzer didn't train today. So that's Romano. Now, I love this from Adam McCullough, by the way. Always thought Marcel Sabitzer was one of the best about. Yeah, me too, bro. I agree. Jonathan Schrager, who we've had on the channel, good lad, does his own work, says Manchester United are pushing to sign Sabitzer from Bayern Munich. Marcel has spoken to manager Erik ten Hag, who likes the player. Here's a big thing for me. If Erik ten Hag wants him, I'm all about it. I trust Erik ten Hag. He knows what he's doing. If he wants this player, this isn't a player that's been forced upon him. I know the circumstances might have forced it upon him somewhat in terms of Christian Eriksen getting that injury. I think if Christian Eriksen didn't get injured, then maybe we won't be in for him. But if Erik ten Hag says that this is a player that he thinks can do a job at Manchester United, then I'm all for it. I'm just going to read through a few tweets here. Ronaldo Brown, our very old Ronaldo Brown, makes an interesting point here. He says, Sabitzer isn't just an emergency panic buy replacement. He's a player that would rival Eriksen for his starting place, even if Eriksen was fit. Now, Ronnie does his own work. He does a lot of research for Steve's channel. We've had him on this channel as well. And he watches a lot of football. And he's played at a very high level. You know, he was in the academy team with the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool. Count that against him. So I trust Ronnie's judgment. So he thinks that actually Sabitzer, even if Eriksen was about when we got him, he would have rivaled him for a starting place. I can only read what I've said. I don't know that, but it's an argument that I'll put some weight behind because, like I say, Ronnie usually does his own work and watches a lot of football. Mark Ogden, again, someone we've had on the channel, says Marcel Sabitzer, the latest player offered to Manchester United by agents / clubs this month. Pulisic, McKennie, Depay, among others. Situation with Eriksen means Sabitzer might be right player at the right time. So we've had players offered to us before where the manager's gone, nah, not for me. But this time, with Eriksen being injured till April, we heard from Erik ten Hag earlier today, Eriksen is out following that horrible challenge by Andy Carroll. I tweeted about this earlier. It's just, listen, I'm not a grass. I'm not like, punish him. He's done. He ended up with a red card anyway for 2 other yellow cards, Andy Carroll, at the weekend. It just annoys me that you can go around just basically diving into people 2-footed with no intention of getting the ball, injure someone for 3 months, and the referee at the time didn't even give it a yellow card. And you'll still have this idiotic narrative amongst our rival fans and certain sections of the media that United get all the decisions. Well, we don't. Yeah, loads of people tweeting about it, loads of people commenting on it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. There was an interesting tweet as well from Romano earlier on today at 1:45. He said Marcel Sabitzer wants to leave and Manchester United are now pushing in talks with Bayern Munich. With Bayern. Discussions on the formula of the deal ongoing. Chelsea are currently busy with other deals and not with Sabitzer as things stand. Now, Chelsea have gone mega turbo in this transfer window. I think they've spent about, is it 596 million quid, I read before. Not just in this window, I think since Todd Burley's, took over. So they've gone just ballistic. We saw it with Mudryk, didn't we? Where he was about to go to Arsenal and they came in and got him. So you've always got to be mindful of Chelsea when there's a transfer and their name's even mentioned around it at the minute. Because there's every chance they could go, what's that? Oh, Sabitzer? Yeah, we'll have him. Let's go in with a bigger offer or bigger wages or whatever. Let's try and get him. So you've got to be careful and keep your eye on that one. Because I wouldn't just dismiss Chelsea, even though, as things stand, according to Romano a couple of hours ago, they weren't necessarily in for him. That can change. And the fact that they're busy with other deals, well, they're just busy, aren't they? So I wouldn't say that means that they're definitely not going to go in for him. It's just, at the minute, it looks like the talks are between Manchester United and Sabitzer. Now, Sabitzer, since this story broke, there's all people have been finding videos and stuff from him. And there was an interviews and stuff he's done, and there was an interview where I think when he played against United for Leipzig, where he spoke about being at Old Trafford and loving playing at Old Trafford is, being a great ground to play at sort of thing. So people are saying, well, there you go then. So I'm just trying to find it. Sorry if I'm just sort of stuttering a little bit. Yeah, there's an interview, I think ahead of Leipzig game, and he talks about seeing the stadium on TV as a kid and I always wanted to come here. So, he knows the stadium, he knows the club. Is that enough? He apparently knows the manager. He knows who he is, he knows what he's doing. I just feel there's a real excitement at United at the minute with Erik ten Hag. And I feel like with Erik ten Hag and what's going on, and some of the players we've got, it's got to be an attractive proposition coming to Manchester United at the minute. It wasn't always the case. I love Manchester United Football Club, right? And I would always want to see any player come to United. But I understand why some players have looked at it over the last few years and gone, not for me. Even like Jude Bellingham, when he was offered the chance to come to United as a 16, 17-year-old, and he went to Dortmund, I didn't agree with it. I was gutted he didn't come because I thought he'd have been a good player for us. But I understood why he went to Dortmund at the time, because he maybe looked at it and thought, I'll get loads of minutes, it's a well-run club, whatever. United have had a cycle of managers, some of whom you think, how long is he going to last? They've had, obviously, the issues with the owners, the issues with Woodward pulling the strings. It all just has been a bit of a mess. Erratic performances in the seasons. 1 minute we're doing all right, manager's doing really well, next minute manager's getting sacked and we're not. Now, I know Erik ten Hag's not been here long, but you can see a style of football. You can see good additions to the squad. Casemiro, if you're a midfielder and you're coming into our midfield, you're going to play alongside Casemiro, and Bruno for that matter, you'd be buzzing. We're challenging for trophies. There's a real positivity around the place. I can understand why you look at it and go, okay, something's going on at United. And also, don't forget, regardless of how much of a mess United have been, we're still, and we'll always be, one of the biggest clubs in the world. We're talking about this with Joe the other day on a podcast. Casemiro coming to Manchester United didn't surprise me. It did surprise me when it happened, because I didn't think we'd go in for him, I didn't think we'd get him. But him choosing Manchester United once we were in for him, once he decided he wanted to move from Real Madrid, didn't surprise me. Because I think if you leave Real Madrid, there's only 1 or 2 clubs you can go to in the world that are on a similar footing in terms of stature to Real Madrid. Your Barcelonas, your Bayern Munichs, your Juves, your Manchester Uniteds. I don't know why I'm pluralising those. But we are on that similar thing of, that the fan base, the stature, the history, the crowds, all that jazz. Not many clubs have that. If that matters to you, it might not be. But if you look at that, and you've got a manager who looks like he knows what he's doing, who you want to play for, and you've got a good squad of players that you'd like to play alongside, and you've got a team that is challenging for honours, then why wouldn't you think of coming to Manchester United? What would stop you? That's ticking all the boxes. The thing that's always sort of held us back a little bit is if a player's looking at Manchester United and you go in, come to United, you'll win trophies, they might go, well, what makes you think that? You haven't won out since 2017. Now you look at it and you go, we're in sort of last stages of one cup competition. We're in with the shout with the other two cup competitions. We've got a squad and a team that can challenge, and we've got a manager who knows what he's doing. There's every chance that Manchester United can be challenging for the top honours. Maybe not this season, I think the league obviously is gone. But next season, I'd expect a title challenge from Manchester United. I really would. And I think any player coming here and look at it and go, yeah, I can see that happening. Let us know what you think. You might disagree. I might just be getting carried away because I'm carried away and went under Erik ten Hag. It's what he's done to me. James Steenson says, I'd be getting everyone in the dressing room leaving on crutches that night. Leave him thinking Ten Hag would kill Brian Potter. Delroy de Cruz says, Jay, do you think that Sabitzer will have an impact at United? Harry here says, please check your Facebook messages. I have. I don't know what's going on here. I keep getting this message of Harry. I have checked my Facebook messages. I'll check again. I couldn't see anything when last time you messaged me saying about that. What's that say? I think that's a bit of a... Yeah, that can go. That's a bit mean. Aaron Shearer says, is this a loan or to buy? That's a good question, that. It would appear... Can we get this confirmed? Everyone can find out. It looks like it's a loan deal. That's what I think most of the sort of the stories that I've seen reported are. It would be a loan deal to the end of the season. Maybe with an option to buy. I'm not sure. If we find out anything concrete, then we can get that confirmed. But it looks like it would be a short-term deal, perhaps with an option to buy. Yeah, I've just had a producer, Callum, just show me a story from the Daily Star. I don't know about you, but you know, who else are you going to trust? It says, Man United pushing to loan Marcel Sabitzer with option to buy as cover Christian Eriksen. That makes sense. If he comes in, he does well on option to buy, happy days. And if he doesn't, we don't have to buy him. So, yeah, let us know what you think. Do you know a lot about him? I've been looking at his stats. I've been looking at videos. I vaguely remember seeing him a couple of times. I don't know a lot about him. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I do. You know me by now. Come on. But do you? Do you know this kid? Because he can play in several positions, I believe. I believe, you know, he can play defensive midfielder, attacking midfielder, even off the striker. He can play out wide. He can tick a lot of boxes. I think he's mainly a central midfielder. But what type of a player is it? How does he fit into this system? You give me the answer. Is this a like-for-like replacement of Christian Eriksen? Does he offer something different to Christian Eriksen? Let us know what you think. Altar Kaplan says, Jay, are you guys doing a transfer live show tonight? Yes. 10 o'clock tonight, for the last hour of the transfer window, I'll be live. Scotty's going to join me, so we'll do a live. Listen, there might be lots happening from Manchester United. There might be nothing happening. What I also think there's value in doing it for as well is see how our rivals are getting on. Because if our rivals are buying players, it's interesting, so isn't it? So for the last hour, we'll be live for that game. Also, we'll know by then who we're definitely playing in the Carabao Cup final, if we get there, which we will. Because I think it's Southampton versus Newcastle, or Newcastle versus Southampton. Will Baker says, not really on topic, but it's a worthy question. Well, it is kind of on topic. Jay, what's happened to Iqbal, boss pre-season, and hasn't had a sniff since? Yeah, he seems to be being a little bit patient with him, doesn't he, Erik ten Hag, with Zidane Iqbal. Love Zidane Iqbal, very good pre-season. Hasn't really had a chance post-pre-season. From what I gather, from what I know, he's a good lad, gets his head down, gets on with it in training. So maybe Erik ten Hag's just looking at it going, I've got experienced players I can use. And also, Kobe Mainoo seems to be the midfielder out there, the youngsters that he's going for in a minute. I'm a little bit surprised. In a couple of my predicted 11s for cup games, I've picked Zidane. I thought Zidane would have been getting a start by now. Hasn't really happened for whatever reason. I think it's mainly, you know, this is conjecture, but I think Erik ten Hag's looking at it and going, I'm going to be a bit more patient with this kid. I expect Zidane Iqbal to be given a chance sooner rather than later. Or sooner or later, I should say, because I know the season's, you know, we're getting into difficult games now, so it's difficult to give someone an opportunity. Who knows? Maybe he gets an opportunity against Nottingham Forest tomorrow. Malaya United said he's a ball-carrying midfielder unlike Eriksen. He will dribble more and create space, but Eriksen is better in terms of assists and key passes. Thank you. Seth Simon says Mainu deserves an opportunity tomorrow. John Gary Navida says, Jay, is the Maguire Inter move on? Last time I heard it was not happening. I had that this morning in my news because Inter Milan apparently were interested in Harry Maguire, but according to the latest reports, it was that Harry Maguire, that United were saying no. Inter wanted him to the end of the season, I think, and I think United have gone, there's no value in that for us. I don't think we need to get him necessarily off the wages. We might need him. He's still an option. He still plays for Manchester United. People might go, Maguire's waste space. He plays for Manchester United. He does a job for Manchester United. What are you getting from loaning him out to Inter? Nothing. I said it earlier this morning. He's not a youngster where you will have a look at him, get him some minutes. He'll feature for United. I don't think he's going to go to Inter. If it changes, we'll let you know. Jason McMillan says, can we call him Marcel Sanitizer as he's going to clean up our midfield? If you want. I'm not going to lie, I don't know if that's going to stick, but we'll see. Andy Moore says he's let's start again. He's a multifunctional player, very comfortable on the ball, decent shot, also free kicks. He went to Bayern on a false promise and he's wasted there. Now, this is interesting in Bayern. I'm just going to have a look at some of his stats. Right, so this season, we'll just stick with the Bundesliga. He's had 15 appearances. 7 of them he started, 8 of them from the bench. And there's been a few times where he's sat on the bench and hasn't got a look in. So he's not getting games. He is playing. You know, he has started games for Manchester United, for Bayern Munich. He started 7 of them in the league, and he's featured 15 times. But he's not a regular. I don't think, there's no point in pretending. There's a reason that he could be leaving Bayern Munich because he's not getting games. But he's had enough games this season where you can go, okay, he has played this season. He's not just coming in having spent 4 months or 6 months, whatever. How long's the season been going for now? About 5 months. He's not just been, twiddling his thumbs. He has been getting games, but not many in terms of minutes. I think a lot of his appearances, his last appearance was literally a minute against Frankfurt, I think it was. Then you've got 18 minutes, 33 minutes, 12 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, a half, 65, 21, 90, 68, 61, 90, 57. So you get it. It's not, he's a sort of a fringe player, shall we say, or backup option would probably be more accurate, but gets games. Now, already, we've had people dismissing this as a good idea. When I say people, I mean rival fans and also likes of Paul Merson. I saw Paul Merson before saying, oh, Sabitzer, he doesn't even get in Bayern Munich's team. Why are you getting him in? That's not the point, though, is it? It's not just the point of we should only buy a player in January who starts for Bayern Munich. Well, good luck with that. Who are you going to get from Bayern Munich that plays for them every week? They're not going to sell you anyone, are they, that they want? So that's not going to happen. If you're going to get a player in as an almost, an emergency sort of option because you've got one of your main players injured, then by definition, you're going to have to get someone who a club are going to be willing to let go. That's someone who doesn't start every week for him, unless you spend loads of money. We know the Glazers ain't going to sanction a big signing. They're selling the club soon. They ain't going to do that. We're not going to go out and spend 100 million quid on a player now. So we have to cut our cloth accordingly, unfortunately. And that means you get players that are available that are going to cost you a lot. And you're looking around and you go, okay, who have we got? Who can we get? Well, here's a lad who's at Bayern Munich, who are one of the elite clubs in the world, who does feature for them, who does have a very good reputation, and who can do a job. So why not go for him? It makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's not the transfer that I was expecting or I was advocating. I was on camera this morning, I didn't mention him once. I didn't go, tell you what, Marcel Sabitzer. But when you look at him and you look at what we need and you look at what's available, it does make sense. Now, we might not end up getting him. It's not a done deal. Hence the reason you can see, no, wrong finger. Jesus, how long have I been doing this? Close, question mark. It's not done. It's not a here we go, but it's potentially happening. And I can understand why it is. And I go back to my original point at the top of this video. if Erik ten Hag wants him, we'll have him. Hit that like button as well. Over 3,000 people watching. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Come on. Bobby Singh Sahota says, Jay, if we sign Sabitzer, I'll copy Ten Hag's haircut even. The Revenant says he's not a cheap option. He's a good option in this moment of time. Love that. Yeah, he is a good option. I don't get the sort of negativity. And I know it's not. It doesn't seem to be many United fans, to be honest with you. It just seems to be one or two pundits who don't know what they're on about, or can't be bothered doing any homework, or don't want to give you any insight or any sort of knowledge. They just want to give you bluster and sort of uneducated opinion. Oh, he hasn't played much for Bayern, he's rubbish. It's simple for Manchester United right now. You can either go, no, we're not going to bring anyone in. We're going to trust McTominay and Fred and maybe the youngsters to cover for Eriksen. Or you can say, we are going to bring someone in. And if you are going to bring someone in, then you're limited in how much you can spend because the Glazers ain't going to sanction a big deal, a big signing. So who do you bring in then? You have to bring in someone probably on loan. There was talk, one that was going for Isco because I think he's a free agent. That makes less sense than this. So yeah, I don't have any problems with this. I really don't. I think it makes a lot of sense to me. Snooker Fan TV said, it's simple. Raid Juventus. Yeah, Juve in a little bit of trouble, aren't they, with the points deduction and everything. But I think the thing is, Juventus, if they were to sell a player, they're going to want money. They're not just going to give them away. J.R. Uskin, or Jay Ruskin, sorry, says, if he's better than Tom, then happy days. Smart Cleverly says, we just need the right players. I agree. Tom Mills says, I'd rather him than McTominay. KK from UK says, energetic midfielder, a baller and high IQ. Santa Notch says, I mean, of course it's a panic buy. We have one day to get an emergency player in. Merson is so dumb. Yeah. It's like, you've got an injury here to a player who played every game for you. Christian Eriksen, he got like the second most assists in the Premier League this season or something. Like, he's a vital cog in United's machine. He gets injured at the weekend. The transfer window shuts, Tuesday night. What are you going to do? You buy someone then, or bring someone in. Oh, well, you're panicking. What else are you meant to do? Don't bring anyone in. Okay, then. So you're just going to trust the players you've got. If that's what you think we should do, fine. I personally don't. I think if we can get someone in who can bring something to this squad, and if Erik ten Hag wants him, get him. That's what I think. I understand the argument of, well, give Zidane Iqbal a chance, or give, trust McTominay or Fred or whatever. I get it. I just don't know if it's going to work. Because I feel like then you're asking players who, by definition, weren't good enough to get in the team anyway because they were being kept out by the player who got injured, to step up. Can they do that? Yes, they probably can do a job. Can they do the job that you need them to do consistently? I'm not so sure. Also, you're also another injury away then. If you start relying on, say, let's say Fred came in, for the sake of argument, and he gets injured, then it's, right, okay, now I'm into my third choice. At least if Sabitzer comes in, you've got another option. Do you know what I mean? So let us know what you think. LDM2K1 says, I just saw Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the Arndale. Snooker Fan TV says, Pogback, ? Templar Priest says, #Pogba, no. Listen, I'm going to stick my neck out here and say, Paul Pogba is not coming back to Manchester United Football Club. He's just not. Not as a player for us anyway. Might play against us. But it ain't happening. And I don't think it should. He's been here twice. First time he came as a youngster from Le Havre, did well in the academy, obviously didn't want to stick around, didn't want to sign a deal, went with Juve. Okay, fine, not an issue, do what you got to do. Came back for a big signing, I think it was 89 million or something like that. And there was times when Paul Pogba was the best player on the pitch. There was times when it wasn't quite working out for him. One thing that's, debatable is how consistent it was. One thing for me that isn't debatable was his injury record. It wasn't great. He's just had another long-term injury, or a longish-term injury. You're not going to bring him in. You're just not. It's not going to happen. And I just think it's a waste of energy to sort of keep debating this thing, and it keeps happening. Pogba, no. Jibak Sahu says, Sabitzer isn't a direct replacement for Eriksen, but a powerhouse midfielder, can play multiple positions. We'll need to change how we play, though. I'm going to wrap it up there. We've covered it He could be coming. That's the latest news. Talks are ongoing. I'm going to be back at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, for the last hour of the transfer window, we'll talk about it then. Hopefully, we'll have a here we go and we'll bring him in, because I want to see him come to Manchester United. I do. I think if Erik ten Hag wants him, which according to reports he does, he'd be a very good sort of addition to the squad. Itziko, who's a member of the first team for the last 6 months, thanks for your support, says, I back this move if Erik ten Hag wants him. If not, hopefully Fred plays like Fredinho. Yep. Back ten Hag. He knows what he's doing. I have faith in this manager. Looking forward to seeing you lot at 10 o'clock. Make sure you join us. 10 o'clock tonight. Live, the last hour of the transfer window. Hopefully, Manchester United will have some additions. We'll also keep you updated if any players go out as well. There are any last-minute loan deals where we loan a few of the players out. A couple of the youngsters have already gone. I think we've had the likes of Charlie McNeil going to Newport, and Dishon Bernard has gone to Portsmouth. There's talk of maybe Ilanga or Palestra going as well. We'll keep you updated on that, and we'll keep you updated whether Marcel Sabitzer or anyone else joins Manchester United. I've been Jay Moy. This has been Breaking News. Thanks for watching.